Hey guys, how you going? Got an interesting update on Epstein, Prince Andrew. Apparently there was a documentary out, so I'll read this. 7 things we learned about Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein from The Prince and the Pedophile. And there he is with... What's her name? Is that Rachel Chandler, guys? Let me know in the comments. I'm just having a mind blank at the moment. The relationship between Prince Andrew and the late disgraced former financier Jeffrey Epstein has been revealed in an explosive new Channel 4 documentary. Dispatches, The Prince and the Pedophile, thoroughly investigates the relationship between the two men, delving into the reasons why a member of the British royal family would choose to keep ties with a convicted sex offender. The documentary also looks closely at their connections and interviews those close to Epstein, as well as exploring how the relationship came about. Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his prison cell earlier this year while awaiting trial for sex trafficking charges, and Prince Andrew stands accused of having sex with the then 17-year-old Virginia Roberts Guthrie, one of Epstein's accusers. He was found dead. He didn't do it himself. Reporter Kathy Newman explores Epstein's British connections, which include Andrew and Robert Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine, as well as Peter Mandelson and Prince Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. The documentary elicited much reaction online in the UK after it aired last night. Some on Twitter are criticising the fact that there has been so little media coverage of Prince Andrew's friendship with Epstein, with more attention given to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex South African trip and interviews on ITV. Bruce Gorey says on Twitter, Harry and Meghan all over the news yesterday when C4 were broadcasting The Prince and the Pedophile. Coincidence? I'm sure. Others have pointed out notable differences between the treatment of Meghan Markle and the criticism she receives compared to Prince Andrew. There are 7 things we learned from the documentary. Number 1, Jeffrey Epstein had 13 phone numbers for Prince Andrew, including a direct line to his computer's modem. In the documentary, private investigator Mike Fiston had been looking into Epstein's alleged crimes as part of this case and discovered that Epstein had 13 telephone numbers on which to contact Prince Andrew. A telephone contact book was found in Epstein's Palm Beach residency, which included a line for the royal at Buckingham Palace. Fiston said, you could take, for instance, if looking at the section in London, you could pick out the Duke of York, which is Prince Andrew, and when you look at that, under the Duke of York, it shows Buckingham Palace, London. He has 13 phone numbers to contact the Duke, and these numbers went everywhere. Wood Farm, Sunning Hill numbers, the Palace, his home number, his home email. He even had a phone number to his modem, I guess to call into his modem. Number 2, Sarah Ferguson had also been friends with Jeffrey Epstein for at least 7 years. Channel 4's analysis of Epstein's telephone records found that the Duchess of York and Epstein's friend had continued for at least 7 years. A telephone note dated the 25th of January 2005 was a message from HRH, Duchess of York, Sarah Fergie, which said, she's expecting your call. Number 3, Jeffrey Epstein was close enough to Prince Andrew to receive an invitation to the Queen's Dance of the Decades at Windsor Castle. In June 2000, Epstein was invited to the Queen's Dance of the Decades party at Windsor Castle, according to Daily Mail royal correspondent Richard Kay. The Queen hosted one of the grandest parties she had at all during her reign at Windsor Castle. They called it the Dance of the Decades, and it was to mark the centenary of the Queen Mother, and I think William's 18th, and Andrew, of course, had been 40 that year too. So he was implicitly involved in all this, and he invited Ghislaine Maxwell and a man called Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, I'm sure. Number 4, Prince Andrew would stay with Epstein on 10 occasions over 12 years, sometimes spending days on end with him. Channel 4 examined the flight logs for one of Epstein's private jets and found that on the 16th of April 1998, Jeffrey Epstein met Princess Sarah Ferguson and the kids on the ground in Nassau in the Bahamas. In February 1999, Prince Andrew himself appears for the first time flying into the Virgin Islands. A few days later, he flies out again with J.E., Jeffrey Epstein, G.M., Ghislaine Maxwell, and a number of other people. Number 5, Prince Andrew's reputation had already been called into question. According to the documentary, Prince Andrew was once praised for his public service in the Falklands War. However, he was also known as Randy Andy the Playboy Prince because he had a series of high-profile girlfriends and was mocked on the satirical program Spitting Image as the Prince Who Can't Say No. Number 6, Prince Andrew continued his friendship with Epstein even after he was arrested for alleged sex offences. Prince Andrew flew from Luton to Edinburgh with Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's closest associate, even after Epstein was arrested for sex offences. This is a flight log for Epstein's jet for the 1st of September 2006. Epstein himself isn't present, but Prince Andrew flies from Luton to Edinburgh with Ghislaine Maxwell and a couple of other friends. Epstein had been arrested 6 weeks previously on charges of soliciting prostitution. Number 7. Oh, before I go on, that's not prostitution, that's assault and slavery, pretty much. That's what he had. Number 7. Prince Andrew allegedly had an orgy with Jeffrey Epstein and 9 girls. The documentary re-examined the court papers which claimed Epstein and Andrew had an orgy with Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre and 8 other girls. In evidence to a Florida court 4 years ago, Miss Giuffre wrote, "The third time I had sex with Andy was in an orgy on Epstein's private island in the US Virgin Islands. I was around 18 at the time. Epstein, Andy, approximately 8 other young girls, and I had sex together. All other girls seemed and appeared to be under the age of 18 and didn't really speak English. Epstein laughed about the fact that they couldn't really communicate, saying they are the easiest girls to get along with." The documentary also claimed that medical records from New York Presbyterian Hospital show that Miss Giuffre was admitted on the 9th of July 2001 after 3 weeks of vaginal bleeding. Buckingham Palace said in a statement about Prince Andrew, "Any suggestion of impropriety with underage minors is categorically untrue. It is emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual conduct or relationship with Virginia Roberts Giuffre." Is that going to be like when Bill Clinton said, "I did not have sexual relationships with, that Monica Lewinsky"? The Prince and the Paedophile is available to watch on all 4 here, and I'll put the link below if you do want to watch it. And that's the end of that article. But I found just an update. And this one was done actually 2 weeks before the last article I just read. The Duke of York hires new spin doctor as Channel 4 investigates links to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The Duke of York has hired a political spin doctor to help rebuild his reputation as it emerged Channel 4 is making a documentary about his friendship with the convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which they've already done now. Amber Rudd's former special advisor Jason Stein will start working for Prince Andrew on Thursday as the palace braces itself for the hour-long exposé due to be aired in a fortnight's time. The Duke has always denied any wrongdoing during his friendship with the billionaire financier, which began after the two met in 1999. He also claims never to have seen, witnessed or suspected the behaviour that led to Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting an underage girl for prostitution, for which he served 13 months in custody. Buckingham Palace has repeatedly denied that he had any form of sexual contact with one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Roberts, describing her claim to the contrary as false and without foundation. I bet he does. Epstein was found dead in his prison cell in August while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. It is understood the Channel 4 Current Affairs team has contacted a number of royal aides in a bid to investigate why the Duke stayed at Epstein's $45 million Manhattan mansion 4 months after his release in 2010. The Duke later admitted it was an error of judgment. That's an understatement, isn't it? Mr. Stein, who previously worked for Trade Secretary Liz Truss, accepted the role of Special Advisor for Communications 2 weeks ago after Ms. Rudd quit work as Work and Pensions Secretary last month over Boris Johnson's Brexit stance. The 28-year-old will report directly to the Duke's private secretary, Amanda Thirsk, rather than the Buckingham Palace press office. Interesting. A royal source told the Daily Telegraph the Duke's office has got a huge volume of work to deliver, but a great deal of time is being taken up dealing with Epstein-related inquiries, which is where Jason will come in. The tangled web left behind. Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier, 66, facing charges of sex trafficking underage girls, apparently killed himself in his Manhattan prison cell on August the 10th, hours after court documents emerged detailing his depraved activities. We all know he didn't kill himself. The women, Virginia Guffey, Nee Roberts, that was her name, claimed she was recruited for sex with Epstein while a teenager, working at Mar-a-Lago, and then lent out to other high-profile men. Joanna Stroberg claims that in 2001, when she was 21, the Duke of York touched her breast while they were at Epstein's home. Epstein's friends, the Duke of York, has categorically denied allegations made by Virginia Guffey that she had sex with him when she was 17. A judge struck the allegations from the court record in 2015. Bill Clinton travelled with Epstein on his private plane known as the Lolita Express, but has denied going to the convicted pedophile's private island in the US Virgin Islands, and we all know that's not true. Donald Trump filmed partying with Epstein models but cut off ties with him years ago, saying he was not a fan. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's former girlfriend, who has been accused by Miss Guffey of acting as the late financier's madam, which she has categorically denied. Notable others. Bill Richardson, 71, the former governor of New Mexico, denies ever going to Epstein's island or meeting Miss Guffey. Glenn Dubin, 62, the hedge fund billionaire, said he was outraged by allegations made by Miss Guffey, and he had flight records and other evidence that definitively disproves them. George Mitchell, 85, the former Democrat US Senate Majority Leader, said he had never met, spoken with, or had any contact with Miss Guffey. Alan Dershowitz, 80. Mr. Dershowitz, a high-profile lawyer and Harvard law professor, previously represented Epstein. He has publicly accused Miss Guffey of making up allegations that he had sex with her. And Jean-Luc Brunel, oh, he's a creepy-looking fellow, isn't he? The septuagenarian, what? Septuagenarian. What on earth is that? I should have looked that up. Co-founder of MC2 Model Management sued Epstein several years ago, claiming he's lost millions by being linked to Epstein by the media. He said he was the victim of false stories, and I'm sure they all say that. We don't know how many times we can say we have got nothing to do with this. It follows reports that the Duke now accepts Epstein was an undercover pedophile, similar to Jimmy Savile, who was very good at keeping his cover. Yeah, no. You all knew. At the weekend, friends insisted that he only visited Epstein in 2010 to tell him he couldn't be friends anymore. He couldn't be his friend anymore. I would have just ignored the bloke, his calls, or at least just answered the phone and said, yeah, mate, don't ring me no more. And hang on, why do you have to go and tell him? At least 5 women who say they were abused by Epstein have filed lawsuits against his $458 million estate since his death. A spokesperson for Channel 4 confirmed the hour-long program was due to air on October the 21st. And it did. So, just little bits of information, guys. You might pick up something. These are mainstream news outlets, but you never know. Sometimes they do slip little things in that you weren't aware of previously. So, okay, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.